This is a message to the people of Lebanon.
So how you measure your success? You count bodies?
So what happened to Lebanon?
سندافع عن أنفسنا وأهلنا وبلدنا.
Israel says its airstrikes are aimed not at civilians but at Hezbollah.
On the 17th and 18th of September 2024, the group Hezbollah faced one of its most difficult days. Pagers and small communication devices used heavily by the group exploded by the thousands, injuring just as many people. And roughly 10 days later, the group's longtime leader, Hassan Nasrallah, was killed. And not long afterwards, the Israeli military launched a ground invasion of southern Lebanon. Coupled with the fall of the Assad regime, many thought that the group's days were numbered. Yet over a year and a half later, the group somehow still manages to pose a serious threat to the Israeli military, especially as part of the larger conflict involving Iran. This is episode 3 of Iran, the War. The last episode saw the State of Israel's strategy in fighting Iran, and that episode is in the description. So here's the thing, this is Lebanon. The Hezbollah group is located mostly in the country's south, and has a unique situation when it comes to the government of Lebanon. Both the Lebanese government and the Hezbollah group have militaries. The Lebanese government has sought to get the group to disarm, and for the central government, like most states in the world, to have a monopoly on military force. The militia, however, has refused, saying that it wouldn't disarm so long as Israeli attacks continue.
يعني انتوا عم تقنعونا بانه القصه يعني بس قصه نزع سلاح وبينحل الوضع بلبنان، ما بينحل شيء بلبنان.
Disarmament matters because this binary system places the Lebanese state in a bit of a tricky situation. Lebanese news sources, like this one for example, complain that whenever the Hezbollah group launches a military action, it drags the entire country into war alongside it, and many accuse the group of serving only Iranian interests. That's not to say that everyone in the country hates them, however. When asked by Gallup whether only the Lebanese army should have weapons, 69% of Shia said no, which just reflects how complicated this situation is. And it may also help explain why Lebanon's president has refused disarming the militia by force, probably fearing a civil war, which the country knew only too well. So even while it was weakened, it was difficult to disarm the group. As reported by the Israeli Alma Research and Education Center, Iran helped the Hezbollah group recover by smuggling weapons and financial backing through different networks. From the militia's perspective, hard power is what keeps it competitive in the Lebanese political scene. But the thing is, it's also precisely what makes it a target. In the first few days of the Iran war, the Hezbollah group fired on Israeli targets. According to the BBC, quote, Hezbollah's actions were largely symbolic, but Israel's retaliation came with force. The Israeli military launched strikes on southern Lebanon, southern Beirut, as well as the Bekaa Valley in the country's east, while also expanding its military presence in the south. From a geostrategic perspective, the Hezbollah group poses a unique threat to the state of Israel because of its direct presence on Israeli borders. As Daniel Byman from the CSIS says, the Israelis are concerned that the Hezbollah group will launch cross-border raids as Hamas did on October 7th. Israeli strategy then is to minimize the threat on the ground. And for the IDF, that means occupation, forced evacuation, and the destruction of homes and villages in the south. Statements by Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz indicate that the IDF has taken territory in southern Lebanon to create a buffer zone between the Hezbollah group's fighters and the state of Israel. As Katz himself has said, the IDF is destroying homes and isn't allowing the Lebanese to return until the threat to Israeli residents is over. In addition to that, the IDF has sought to destroy tunnels linked to the militia and is using the experience of Gaza as a basis for southern Lebanon. That matters because, strategically speaking, the idea is to push the Iranian threat away from the Israeli border. In fact, this presence on the Israeli border allows Iran to heavily pressure the state of Israel. And that may be why Iran has several times stopped negotiations with the United States because of Israeli attacks on Lebanon. And at the same time, it may be why the Israelis are so keen on fighting in Lebanon despite US-Iran negotiations. For Iran, it's a card it doesn't want to give up, and for the Israelis, it's a card they really want to get rid of. The Lebanese government, meanwhile, wants both the Iranians and the Israelis to leave. Both, however, have refused. So far on the ground, much evidence indicates that the Hezbollah group is struggling. But although the Israelis have been able to weaken them, other sources indicate that the IDF is facing difficulties. According to the Cradle, the Hezbollah group is using guerrilla-style tactics and drone warfare to stop the Israeli advance. This Telegram post indicates that Israeli commanders have expressed frustration at the situation. What this means from an Israeli perspective is that a continued presence in southern Lebanon may be difficult to maintain. The IDF has warned that it is facing a manpower shortage. And mind you, Israeli troops are still engaged in Gaza and are stationed in parts of Syria. For Iran and the Hezbollah group, that gives them an advantage. Overall, the fate of the group probably depends on how much support it will gain from Iran, and to what degree Israeli pressure will cause the militia to come apart. Lebanon, though, is not the only country with Shia militias. On the other side of the region, many Shia militias have played an important role in launching attacks against targets in the Gulf. Many of these militias are from Iraq. Iraq has been one of the most critical scenes of this war, a scene that will be seen in the next episode. So until then, thank you for watching.